another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Hello, it's VTR Dave. I'm supposed to be installing a new case onto my Mister Multisystem, but as you can see, I've been distracted. I'm trying out and testing a few arcade cores. The only thing I've learned so far is that I am nowhere near as good as I used to be at playing these video games. I think the record for Donkey Kong, the world record, was held by Billy Mitchell for a long time. It's around 800,000, I think, and more recently it's gone way up to 1 million. Do you know what my high score is so far? 16,100. Oh dear. Right, it can't be all play. The updated case has arrived from RMC Retro. Let's get this installed on our Mister Multisystem. Why have I purchased this upgraded case? It looks very similar to the original. They are both grey. I really like this Mister System in the grey. But the main difference is it has a detachable top, which means you can get to your Mister inside really easily. On the original case, a fan was screwed into both the top and the bottom of the case. You also had 4 screws underneath. And if you weren't careful, when you pulled it apart, if you didn't remove your SD card, there was a really good chance you were going to damage it. So all in all, it was just a little bit painful. The quality on these new cases is really high. There's no excess plastic like the original, and it's really solid as well. If you look at the bottom here, same story, really nice and rigid. If you look underneath, we've got this grid here. I don't know if that's just for reducing plastic or to make it more rigid, but it certainly works. Also got these holes here if you want to hang this on the wall or inside your arcade cabinet. You've got that option as well. Right, it's time to say goodbye to this old case. Let's crack on. First step is to install this button mechanism. On the old case this just used to rest on top of the board, but with this new case it looks like this mechanism also acts as one of the posts for the DE10. So I need to remove the old one and install this. Installing this was a little fiddly. I needed to undo the screws for the DE10 Nano, so I could lift it up a little bit to push this underneath. But it's done now. Okay, installing the nut traps into this top section is proving tricky. I may have to actually just adjust these holes slightly. Right, I'm finally ready to slide the board into the case. That's in by the looks of it. I think I'm just going to unplug it and see if I can rewire this around. Push it down there, and then see if we can get this pushed back in. Actually, that fits in very nicely and doesn't feel like there's any strain on that USB plug. Fantastic! These are the thumb screws for fixing the top of the case. Looks like though I'm missing the nuts, but I'm going to go downstairs to the garage and see if I've got some. Be back in a minute. Apologies for the interruption to this broadcast, but I need to purchase some M3 nuts, and it seems Screwfix have them and I can collect them in the morning. From no nuts to 100 nuts. Thank you, Screwfix. Before I fix the top, one very nice feature is the ability to install an external hard disk drive or SSD into the case here. There's lots of space, lots of options. That's a nice enhancement. Last few pieces now. I noticed there's an extra slot here. Wonder what that was. But in the instructions it tells you it's actually for holding a spare SD card. That's a nice little feature. I'm going to pre-cut some new labels for all the buttons. My memory isn't as good as it used to be, and I'm going to test this now by playing another notoriously difficult arcade game, Ghosts and Goblins, and we'll see what my high score is for that. Before we do that, let's talk about this V2 case I now have spare. It's a complete case with all of the screws, the posts, the buttons, even the heatsink. And I'd like this to go to a new home. So if you have a Mister Multisystem without a case, contact me on my email. It's in the about page of my channel, and I will send you this free of charge. But I would like this to go to a home where it's needed. And of course, I've only got one, so it will be first come, first served. Right, let's see how bad I am at Ghosts and Goblins. Stay safe, everyone, and cheers.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. What you want to be going, you see. You can have everything you want. It's your destiny, be in harmony. We were never meant to be apart. What you want to be going, you see. You can have everything you want. It's your destiny, be in harmony. We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep.
Thank you for staying till the end. Reward yourself with another VTR classic, or just leave a comment, like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and cheers.